Good day, everyone, and thanks for attending our Cisco webinar, Maximizing Value in Multi-Cloud Environments. I am Enrico Fuiano, and I'm part of the Cloud Solutions Marketing team at Cisco. Scott Whitwright, Cloud Solutions Marketing Manager for the Americas region, will also participate in the webinar. Thank you, Scott. So let's review the agenda first. We will cover 3 topics. First, we will review the results of an IDC cloud study that covers over 31 countries and 6,100 organizations. Then, we will introduce the Cisco Business Cloud Advisor Framework, our methodology enabled by IDC to make the results of this study actionable. We will then complete the overview by discussing some of our Cisco Cloud professional services. Regarding the IDC study, there are a lot of data points that have been analyzed. And brought to the surface. So you can download the info brief from our website, but we have summarized on this slide some of the key takeaways. First and foremost, while it is no surprise that cloud adoption is going mainstream, with almost 70% of the respondents signaling use of some form of cloud, only a small fraction of organizations are deriving the most value from their cloud deployments. In fact, only 3% of the respondents have optimized cloud strategies in place. The second observation is that organizations want choice. They need to diversify their selection of cloud providers. They want the freedom to run their applications in the right cloud environment. And in fact, the most mature cloud organizations expect to be able to choose from multiple cloud providers based on location, policies, and governance principles. It is a multi-cloud world. Even with private cloud, multiple consumption models are present, be that on-prem, hosted, or even delivered as a service. So the question is, what prevents organizations from optimizing their cloud environments? Technology is not the single most visible barrier. Skill gaps, legacy siloed organizational structures, and the misalignment between IT and line of businesses are often the real obstacles in achieving greater cloud maturity. Last but not least, to make many of these market research findings actionable, we have refreshed our Cisco Business Cloud Advisor Framework, and we're making available to our customers a number of Cisco Cloud professional services, which in conjunction with our partner ecosystem can help you get more value out of your multi-cloud environments. Okay, so that was a brief summary, but if you're like me, you may want to know more. You may be wondering, is this a Cisco proprietary study that was conducted at Cisco Live? Jokes aside, of course not. In 2016, so this year, IDC independently conducted a primary market research project targeting director-level and above respondents from a global sample of over 11,000 executives responsible for IT decisions across 31 countries. Of this sample, the full survey was conducted on more than 6,100 respondents actively using cloud for multiple workloads. You can see on the slide the firmographics and regional distribution, which confirms how this is truly a global study. In the next few slides, we will outline the findings in more detail. As you would have expected, cloud adoption is growing and fast. Reportedly, almost 68% of the organizations are using some form of cloud, be that public cloud or private cloud or a combination of both. This represents a 61% increase from last year. But is it private cloud or public cloud? Well, the debate is over. Organizations want both. The percentage of organizations using private cloud today is about 54%, and similarly, 52% of the organizations are consuming public cloud services. For a number of reasons, on-premises private cloud spending is projected to grow by 40% over the next 2 years. Now, hybrid cloud, however, really represents the way forward for most organizations. We hear it from our customers almost every day. The data obviously confirms it. 2/3 of the organizations we surveyed claim to have a hybrid cloud strategy. Now, this data point should be viewed as directional in nature and for a number of reasons. First, we refer to it as a hybrid cloud strategy. This does not translate into full adoption of hybrid IT today, at least not yet. More importantly, what we continue to see is a high degree of subjectivity when it comes to the very same definition of hybrid cloud. The most mature organizations do not consider the consumption of public cloud services and the deployment of private clouds as true hybrid cloud environments. So the percentages should be viewed as aspirational, a declaration of intent almost, if you will. Again, consistent with what we hear from our customers. As part of the study, we segmented the organizations across the 5 different stages, depending on a number of factors, including cloud adoption levels, people, processes, tools characteristics, and associated business outcomes. IDC classifies the maturity of an organization's cloud implementation based on where they fall on this spectrum. Specifically, at a high level, ad hoc cloud adoption is focused primarily on pilot projects and validation activities driven by the needs of individual decision makers and teams to your left. Now, cloud deployments in the opportunistic organizations are driven by the business needs of individual work groups and departments with no effort to share resources or create a scalable, repeatable set of implementations. Organizations that have reached the repeatable stage show consistent effort to leverage and reuse cloud best practices and resources across multiple groups and departments. When a business has reached the managed phase, there is widespread use of cloud throughout the organization, supported by proactive business and IT leadership, driving decisions about cloud use, operational policies, IT architectures, and contract negotiation and monitoring. Finally, businesses that are optimized have broadly implemented a cloud-first strategy that is proactively managed and clearly driving business innovation while improving IT operational efficiency. As you move from left to right, the capabilities IT organizations have changes dramatically across people, processes, and tools. And more importantly, there is a progression of business outcomes. So for us, it was very important to study the adoption of cloud technologies across the maturity curve and for a number of reasons. How are organizations distributed across the cloud adoption curve? As you can see, only a small percentage of organizations have optimized cloud strategies in place. That is, to be precise, 2.9% of the sample that IDC studied. Last year, we observed how 1% of the organizations had optimized cloud strategies in place. So there is some progress, but also, arguably, plenty of room for improvement. More importantly, almost 70% of the organizations do not have mature or even advanced cloud strategies in place. So one of the main findings that we socialized with the broader market last year was tied to the fact that it pays off to optimize your cloud strategy. In fact, the greater the level of cloud maturity, the better the level of business outcomes, including increased revenue and more strategic allocation of the IT budget. Specifically, if we look at the top segment of companies that have been able to successfully deploy private, public, and hybrid cloud services, market research findings clearly indicate how cloud can drive measurable business benefits reported on the slide across a number of key performance indicators or KPIs. The figures are associated with the highest stage of cloud maturity and represent average values across a large number of organizations that IDC has been able to profile. In the info brief that we make available on our website, you will find more details related to these and other KPIs, including maximum and minimum values. Our role is really to help our customers capitalize on these opportunities as we enable their journey to multi-cloud environments, and we help them transition to a new IT model. And it is worth pointing out that optimizing your cloud strategy does not mean moving all your applications to a public cloud environment. In fact, 95% of the organizations in the optimized stage of cloud adoption use private cloud in addition to public cloud. So once again, we see hybrid cloud as the key ingredient to success for that 3% of the sample. We had begun to observe during the past 18 months or so a market shift. The IDC data also this year confirms that transition. Cloud is no longer a platform that can help IT organizations only drive cost efficiencies and reallocate the budget from CapEx to OpEx. But cloud is viewed as a platform that can help organizations fuel innovation and growth. In fact, the greater the level of cloud maturity, the more organizations expect cloud to drive strategic business outcomes. And that includes increased revenue and more strategic allocation of the IT budget. You can see almost a linear correlation between cloud maturity and progression of business outcomes in the IDC model. And that's what we call the second wave of cloud adoption. Another aspect that we really wanted to know a lot more about is tied to the common traits that cloud-optimized organizations share from a pure technological point of view. The most mature cloud organizations are defined by their use of DevOps, hybrid and multi-provider clouds, microservices, and containers. They're also more likely to consume security and Internet of Things or IoT applications via the cloud. Specifically, 84% of optimized cloud organizations expect to choose from multiple cloud providers. They want a resilient cloud strategy, and they deploy workloads across multiple clouds to meet their objectives, be that cost reduction or more stringent SLAs or compliance requirements. Containers and microservices architecture are also growing tremendously, as you know, across optimized cloud organizations in particular, with adoption rates in the 60 to 70% range. DevOps, and we all know that is a best practice, but it was good to see adoption of DevOps methodology so closely correlated with optimized cloud organizations. Optimized cloud organizations also have solid governance practices in place with strong alignment between business and IT stakeholders guided by interlocked collaboration principles and practices. You do not see a lot of shadow IT within these organizations as a result. IoT applications and security applications delivered from cloud environments are contributing to the growth of the cloud market, and you can see how a large percentage of cloud-optimized organizations are consuming IoT and security applications that are cloud-based, primarily private and hybrid cloud-based specifically. At first, it seems almost counterintuitive because you know that security is one of the major barriers to hybrid cloud adoption, and yet, as organizations mature in the use of cloud services, they tend to consume more security solutions delivered from the cloud. And this is aligned quite well with our strategy. In fact, you've seen us investing in security solutions such as CloudLock and OpenDNS. Now, some of the concerns organizations continue to have are tied to the risk of having a more limiting set of choices by being dependent on public cloud environments that can be viewed as proprietary with very limited alternatives and prohibitive switching costs. Well, that is precisely one of the reasons why OpenStack continues to be a popular alternative among the companies that IDC surveyed. Across a broad sample, you can see how 59%, so almost 60% of respondents say OpenStack is important to their cloud strategy, be that open source or commercial distributions. Respondents for whom OpenStack is an important part of their cloud strategy had higher expectations for their cloud environments to be able to improve strategic KPIs compared to those for whom OpenStack was less important. And you can see there is a material spread in the 20 to 30% range between the two groups. In my mind, this also signals how OpenStack is no longer viewed simply as a way to avoid the hypervisor tax and lower costs, but is also perceived as a way to help IT positively affect tangible business outcomes. So you may wonder, what are some of the barriers that separate that group of best-in-class cloud organizations from the rest of the population? Well, IDC's research has identified conflicts, gaps that delay advancement, including and not limited to the ones that you see on the slide. For example, we continue to see line of business and IT misalignment. Cloud imposes cross-enterprise organizational and process changes that affect not only IT, but every part of the enterprise. In fact, over 91% of the companies without managed or optimized strategies indicated they struggle with IT and line of business misalignment. For example, they lack a well-defined process for IT to reach out to the business or a process to collaborate on defining service level agreements. Insufficient monitoring, measurement, and management tools for a range of hybrid cloud environments remains a challenge. Over 3/4 of enterprises without managed or optimized strategies indicated that they struggle to monitor and optimize cloud resources. For example, enterprises in the stages struggle to impose application and infrastructure standards to reduce the diversity of technologies and management frameworks that are in use. And managing cloud workloads across a range of hybrid cloud environments with cross-environment tooling in a consistent way is really not an easy thing to do. And we have lagging processes, procedures, and skills. 93% of respondents without managed or optimized strategies lack the required processes for a hybrid cloud strategy. Now think about that, right? A great example is the need to basically rebuild accounting systems designed for budgeting fixed IT resources into systems that support metering of resource usage and appropriate showbacks or chargebacks. Now, last but not least, cloud requires new and specific processes and skills that are not easily accessible to many IT organizations. Just think of containers, OpenStack, orchestration tools, and more. So we went through quite a bit of data, and you can find a lot more information on our website, but we want to make the results of these market research studies actionable for you or meaningful. And so often talking to customers, inevitably the question surfaces, how can I advance my cloud journey? What benefits can I expect? What steps do I need to take to evolve my multi-cloud strategy? And this is why, in conjunction with IDC, we developed a data-driven framework, which is the Cisco Business Cloud Advisor, or Cisco BCA. It consists of 3 main components. We have developed a number of new IDC-branded and Cisco-sponsored documents to help you better understand the latest cloud trends, industry best practices, and associated business benefits. We're making available to our customers an updated online quick self-assessment tool, the Cisco BC Adoption Report, that based on a brief survey allows cloud organization or I should say cloud decision makers in the organization to receive a high level and yet personalized review of their cloud environment along with benchmarking information and a preliminary vendor agnostic guidance enabled by the IDC data that we just outlined. So we added new data points, new guidance from IDC, and added new capabilities for the channel partners to take advantage of. The third element of the BCA framework is the Cisco BCA workshop that will evolve in the future by bringing to market also an integrated Cisco Domain 10 and Cisco Business Cloud Advisor workshop offering, in addition to the existing set. We want to help organizations continuously improve their multi-cloud environments and facilitate alignment between IT and line of business stakeholders. And as we discussed, the entire framework is based on IDC primary market research conducted across 31 countries, 6,100 organizations. So the objective has been and remains that of providing you with a vendor agnostic analysis. So obviously, many organizations can benefit from this type of methodology. Mid-market enterprise class organizations can benchmark themselves by geography, company size, specifically looking at the number of employees, and industry vertical. We can provide data points across a broad number of verticals that you can see listed on the slide, but we obviously don't cover them all. The people within the organizations that we typically work with are the ones that are in a position to drive and or influence cloud strategies. So think of the CIOs and their teams. However, we have seen organizations in our workshops involving even select line of business managers, and that makes the discussion so much more engaging and meaningful, almost a reality check. So let's review the three components of the framework in more detail. We have developed a number of Cisco-sponsored and IDC-branded deliverables that you can download from our website, cisco.com/go/BCA. And we wanted to provide you with a global but also a regional view, so a country view, and that is why we developed a number of info briefs that contain additional data points to the ones that we just reviewed. But we also provide for select countries a local perspective, at least for a subset of the data points. The white paper digs in a little bit deeper into the various trends and the business benefits and provides some unique analysis also in terms of industry adoption and the criteria for a workload allocation that organizations may use. So many of these deliverables are available in multiple languages as well. The BCA Adoption Report is an easy-to-use online self-service tool enabled by IDC, obviously, which based on a brief multi-point survey, generates a multi-page document. The document itself is delivered via email and allows organizations to quickly compare their existing adoption of cloud services by industry, company size, and geography. This personalized report also provides a preliminary estimate of how a limited set of KPIs can improve as a result of greater cloud adoption levels. Essentially, you get to see where you are in your multi-cloud journey. You receive a preliminary high-level guidance from IDC based on your level of cloud adoption, outlining what areas you should be focusing on next. And the Cisco BC Adoption Report does not provide obviously a detailed set of recommendations, and was not built or intended to replace consulting engagements. Our qualified Cisco partners can gain access to the tool free of charge. So let us know if you're interested. When it comes to the BCA workshop, it provides a structured, questionnaire-based approach to help us assess in more detail your cloud environment, enabling us to issue a set of findings and recommendations. We go more in depth with our questionnaires with the intent of having very meaningful and yet confidential discussions during the workshop. The BCA workshop itself is primarily meant to facilitate a guided discussion that allows us to understand the challenges you face, your business objectives, your technical requirements, but also your existing capabilities. And before the workshop, we share with you a questionnaire which contains a number of areas that help the Cisco and partner team systematically gather information and evaluate your cloud environment. The questionnaire we use are vendor agnostic and is exactly why we partner with IDC, to bring you an unbiased perspective. After the workshop, the Cisco and partner teams are using actually a back-end tool enabled by IDC to perform the analysis, and we share with you the findings and some of the recommendations. Our analysis is based on the information gathered via the BCA questionnaire and, of course, the dialogue during the workshop. The team produces a fairly detailed document and a PowerPoint version of the same document that includes information related to your cloud adoption level, peer comparisons, gap analysis. It's all using the data that we gathered, and we can also provide estimates regarding the potential business impact of cloud adoption in your environment across a number of KPIs. So under the IDC banner, with the massive data set that we accumulated, we can issue some specific recommendations to help you achieve your objectives. Last but not least, we can recommend some of our product solutions and services, leveraging our vast partner ecosystem. This is ultimately why IT organizations are approaching Cisco. They want to know what they need to do, leveraging an unbiased perspective, but they also seek guidance regarding how to implement those recommendations. We have a number of partners that have embraced the methodologies, and I selected just a couple of quotes here, be that Longview or Catalyst, and as they talk to customers, the benefits that the customers themselves derive from the engagement is really all about a vendor-agnostic, data-driven approach that helps them advance their cloud adoption, create a roadmap for driving strategic benefits for their organizations, leveraging some of the industry's best practices. However, to help businesses navigate the multi-cloud maze and optimize their cloud environments, we also have a number of additional Cisco Cloud Professional services. These services will help our clients bridge the change management and skill set gaps they may be facing as they accelerate their hybrid IT transformation strategies. And the intent is also that of facilitating the adoption of DevOps methodologies and abating organizational silos to embrace cloud-native initiatives. The services I will briefly go through fall into three categories. First is strategy and change management. So to define the North Star of our customers' multi-cloud strategy and to enable them to overcome the change management barriers needed to operate in DevOps and cloud-native development environments. And that's exactly what we offer with this set of services. Cloud acceleration services. So once you have defined your cloud strategy, these services accelerate our customers' hybrid IT transformation for various use cases, including traditional private clouds, cloud-native workloads on OpenStack, agile development and DevOps methodologies, leveraging PaaS, so platform as a service, solutions from some of our partners, such as Apprenda. And then with the multi-cloud governance and management services, during this last phase, we empower customers to optimize their cloud investments by leveraging Cisco Cloud Center and application and cloud migration services. That allows them to best allocate workloads across multiple cloud providers based on price, performance, location, policies, and simply governance principles. Now, some of the specific services you see listed on this slide include this future integrated BCA and Domain 10 workshop that is going to be available early next calendar year. And that's a Cisco-delivered workshop that will help organizations identify cloud adoption gaps and benchmarks, continuously improve their multi-cloud environments, facilitate alignment between IT and line of business stakeholders. We already have in market the Quick Start private cloud service. It's all about accelerating the journey to cloud by leveraging integrated services with the validated architectures to provide customers with a turnkey solution. We have OpenStack services as a complement to our OpenStack solution delivered as a service. So this is a customer-managed solution that is designed and deployed by Cisco experts to the customized OpenStack needs of our customers. And that includes a production-ready private cloud for infrastructure as a service on Cisco UCS integrated infrastructure with Red Hat OpenStack platform and OpenStack integration experience, which includes some of the ACI and Neutron plugins, among other things. We also have new multi-cloud management and orchestration services for Cisco Cloud Center, empowering customers to model once their workloads, but then deploy and manage them anywhere. And we have also enhanced some application and cloud migration services to automate and de-risk the complexity involved in onboarding and migrating applications and workloads to the cloud. So the question remains, what is the ultimate benefit that we can offer you? And our goal is really that of empowering our customers to optimize their multi-cloud strategy so that they can accelerate their hybrid IT transformation. We obviously have a broad portfolio of solutions and services to help you do that. And leveraging our deep integration and networking expertise, we can deliver simpler architectures for Cisco data center and cloud infrastructure that are the foundation of your transformation, smarter choices for cloud automation and orchestration to simplify what we call the multi-cloud maze. And this leverages the Cisco Cloud Center capabilities that we briefly reviewed, and faster innovation through cloud-native environments and our customers' digital transformation. This refers to our Cisco Metapod or MetaCloud solution, which is a private cloud as a service offering powered by OpenStack and inclusive of hardware, software, and expertise delivered in a data center of your choice. So how do you get started? The question we get at times is, how can I begin to advance my capabilities? Most organizations we speak to realize it is all about continuous improvement. So first step is simply that of indexing yourself, so to speak. So see where you are in your multi-cloud journey. Use the IDC methodology that we packaged in our online BCA adoption report. That's completely confidential. And start a conversation with our Cisco and partner teams. You will receive a personalized report that you can use to begin a more repeatable and structured approach. I will also leave you with a number of additional resources on our website that you can visit to learn more about all of the topics that we discussed. And if you have any questions, just send us an email, ciscobca@cisco.com, ciscobca@cisco.com. And I hope you found the materials of interest, or at least able to trigger the desire to learn a little bit more. So Q&A.
Wonderful. Yes, wonderful. Thank you very much, Enrico. We've got a number of questions that have been submitted during the session there. Let me just go ahead and read the first one to you and let you respond. So the first question is, will Cisco BCA be available only in English, or will you provide localized versions?
Well, for the online tool, so the BCA Adoption Report, we have localized it in 10 languages, and that includes LATAM Spanish, major European languages, Korean, Simplified Chinese, and Japanese. The workshop itself and associated tooling are available in English only at this stage.
Perfect, perfect. And then another question here, what capabilities do you offer as part of your OpenStack related professional services engagements?
Well, let's see, the Cisco Professional Services team has really built an OpenStack practice to help customers deploy and customize their OpenStack environments. And we've been helping customers extend their private hybrid cloud deployments, leverage OpenStack for network function virtualization capabilities, and tightly integrate it with our Cisco controllers, such as APIC for ACI, application-centric infrastructure. Back to you.
Okay, okay, perfect. And then a couple other questions here. How about this one? We need guidance regarding the allocation of workloads for various cloud deployment models. Is this something that's covered in the BCA tool?
Well, yes, but only to an extent. So let me explain that. So during the workshop and in the questionnaire, we do ask questions related to application deployments, right? We have to. It's an important part of the methodology. So I've seen customers who know how exactly, right, how they want to allocate their application portfolio, be that traditional data center versus private or public cloud, and others who need instead guidance. Now, when they seek guidance, we recommend leveraging the capabilities that Cisco Cloud Center can offer. So there is a compelling aspect in this regard, combined with our professional services, but it doesn't have to be, that allows customers to benchmark their workloads across multiple clouds or even instances within the same cloud environment to pick the best deployment environment for that particular application. And so I believe that's one of the potential follow-on capabilities that we can recommend as a result of a BCA engagement. I hope that that helps.
Yeah, no, excellent, excellent, okay. And then I have time for one more question here. Does the BCA research call out any specific industry verticals?
Well, we published a white paper. It's IDC branded, Cisco sponsored, and we do reference some of the industry-specific trends at a high level. We continue to see, as you would expect, regulated industries to be a little bit more cautious regarding their use of true public cloud. But within the BCA framework, we also provide benchmarks by industry and industry verticals. So that is something I have to say. I mean, CIOs specifically are very interested, and especially when they face intense competitive threats, right, from the industry peers, to see where they are in the cloud adoption curve. And so we do provide that information both with the online that you can see here, Cisco BCA Adoption Report, but also during the BCA workshop.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for the information, and thank you very much for all that attended today's session. And we'd like to further call your attention to allowing you to jump online and take the BCA Cloud Adoption journey yourself, download the white paper, and then actually go into the tool and index your own cloud journey and your adoption strategy against other peers in your industry. And the URL down at the bottom is www.cisco.com/go-BCA. Thank you very much, Enrico.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Scott.